Alrighty guys, what's going on? It's Joseph here, back for another LEGO Star Wars video here today. And today I'm going to be talking about my clone minifigure wishlist for 2022. Obviously this is just a wish list, just some ideas and just some stuff I wanted to speculate about and talk about. The chances of all these minifigures being made are probably like less than 1%, and these are not rumors or news or anything like that. These are just some ideas I wanted to talk about. But regardless guys, let's get right into the list, shall we? Starting out with spot number 10 on the list, I have Clone Trooper Tup. Obviously, this would have to be his Phase 2 version. And I'm not going to lie, I really love the design of Tup's armor. I think it looks pretty good. I love the whole teardrop thing he has going on. He's a relatively important character, too, to the Clone Wars. Not only that, but he's probably going to be maybe even a little bit important in the Bad Batch. And I really wouldn't be that surprised if he was mentioned or at least referenced a couple of times. And he was referenced, I guess, at least, a couple of times in the Clone Wars Season 7. At least the last 2 episodes for sure. And he's still a cool character and a cool clone. And, for us to get him, I don't know how we'd get him. The chances of us getting him in a set are pretty much slim to none, but maybe a CMF would happen, and we could get someone like Tup. Cool minifigure in my opinion. I love to see this happen in 2022. Coming in at spot number 9, guys, I have Commander Doom. Another pretty cool character, in my opinion. His armor and just his whole persona and vibe he gives off is obviously really neat. Obviously kind of related to Marvel with Doctor Doom. And he's just a cool character in general. Obviously, for us to get him, it would have to be through something like a CMF, because the chances of us getting him in a set are pretty much slim to none as well. He's obviously also not as important as a character, in the Clone Wars and, the whole era in general compared to Tup. But still, kind of a cool character and just kind of someone that I could really, aspire for. And if this happened, that would be, legendary. But just kind of a, hopes and dreams type of minifigure, I guess you could say. Nothing realistic, really. Coming in at spot number 8, guys, I have Commander Fox, and I'm not going to lie, he's another pretty cool character, and, pretty important, more important than Doom, I guess you could say, and he's been, in a few Clone Wars episodes, some comics here and there, and, the chances of us getting him as well are pretty slim, but LEGO has made a Commander Fox minifigure before. It was the Phase 1 version, but that minifigure still does exist, so LEGO, I guess, has been willing to show they can make characters like Commander Fox, so the chances of us getting him again are probably pretty low, but still, he has been made before, and obviously to get an updated version of him, especially in the Phase 2 version, which you've never gotten before, it would be absolutely amazing. It is possible, but again, not likely, really. Coming in at spot number 7, I have another clone officer. This is going to be Commander Bly. Again, kind of another hopes and dreams minifigure where he's somewhat relevant, but really not too special at all. Kind of a minor side character. He'd probably have to come in a CMF or something like that. But still, a cool character regardless, and one that I would love to see in 2022. He could come in an Episode 3 set, honestly. That really wouldn't be, outside of expectations or impossible. It certainly could happen, but again, it would probably be very unlikely and wouldn't be that realistic, but still would be very cool. Moving up to spot number 6, another clone minifigure I would love to see would be Commander Wolffe. Again, another clone officer. Now, he has also been a clone minifigure that has been made before. We got his Phase 1 variant in 2011, I want to say. So, like Commander Fox, he's another clone on this list who has had minifigures before. Obviously, that was, when the Clone Wars was alive and kicking, and that was kind of a big show, and really the only, major Star Wars media that was live and, going on, right? And a lot of other stuff's going on now. So, the chances of seeing this minifigure are low, but I actually, I feel like there's a decent chance we see him in the future. He's a very, popular character. The whole thing with Dave Filoni and the Wolffe Pack and just that whole thing is kind of big and popular and cool. So honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we got a Commander Wolffe set, or something like that, maybe in a CMF, something like that. We did get some Wolffe Pack troopers a few years back. And, that was still a few years back. But still, I think, honestly, seeing a Commander Wolffe minifigure, maybe not necessarily in 2022, but in the future would be interesting. Not to mention with the Bad Batch going on, we might see him in that show. So it is a possibility. Maybe not likely, but certainly a possibility we see a Commander Wolffe minifigure in the future. Moving into spot number 5, I have Captain Rex. Now, this honestly could be any version of Rex, and, I'd be happy to see one, but ultimately, a Phase 2 one is probably what's in demand, and, what people are going to pay for. I think you can get the Phase 1 Rex for $50 on Bricklink, but the Phase 2 Rex is $100 or more, which is ridiculous. That's insane. LEGO needs to make a Phase 2 Rex minifigure as soon as they can, because people will absolutely buy that thing and spend all of their money to get Phase 2 Rexes. And, I doubt we'd see him in a CMF. We'd probably see him in a set, but he is going to be in the Bad Batch. We did see him in his Phase 2 armor in that show in one of the trailers, so he is going to be in that show. And, I think it is certainly possible we could see him in a set in 2022. Out of all the minifigures here, he, in my opinion, is probably the most likely, at least within 2022 or 2023. He's in huge demand. LEGO listened to our demand before with the Power Force Battle Pack. I don't know if they listen to something like this, but they, I guess, have ears, and they do know that this minifigure is in high demand. He's worth a lot of money, and I imagine LEGO would want to capitalize on this business. So chances are we will see him in 2022. It is still a wish, not a rumor, but I imagine I wouldn't really be too surprised if we saw him next year. Moving in at spot number 4, coincidentally, I have Fives, and another great minifigure, another great character in my opinion. He's a little bit more relevant than some of the other guys on this list, but still not the most major character, and, unlike Wolffe, Rex, and Fox, we've never gotten a Fives minifigure, which is a little bit surprising. I feel like he deserves a minifigure. Obviously, Echo is rumored to be getting a minifigure in the Bad Batch set. It's not the traditional Arc Echo from the Clone Wars, but in my opinion, I think that we do need to see an Arc 5, and I would love to see him. He's definitely a good contender and kind of potential character for a CMF, honestly. He's a pretty important character, and he's mentioned in Clone Wars Season 7. He obviously hasn't necessarily been seen in anything besides just a few mentions, but still important character, and with Echo getting a minifigure, I just feel like it's fair that Fives gets one, right? Moving on to spot number 3 on the list, I have ARC Trooper Jesse, and I'm not going to lie, he's another pretty cool and important character, and I love his armor. I love the whole Republic insignia he has going on his helmet and tattooed onto his face, and I imagine he's also a decent candidate for a minifigure we could see in the future. He's definitely more likely than some of the other characters on this list, and he certainly is an important character to the Clone Wars and just that whole era. We see a lot of him in Season 7 of the Clone Wars, not to mention he could be mentioned in the Bad Batch for sure. I love his armor. He's a great minifigure. I'd love to see his arc version, and he is so sick. I would love to see him, guys. I'm not going to lie. Moving into spot number 2 on the list, guys, I have Commander Thorn, another great minifigure in my opinion, and a great design here. And I'm not going to lie, the chances of us ever seeing Commander Thorn in Lego form are probably like slim to none as well, and he's very unlikely, probably pretty much similar to that of Commander Doom's chances. And although those two guys are cool, and the chances of us ever seeing them are pretty much zero, it would still be absolutely awesome to see them in a CMF or something like that. That'd probably be the only way we'd get these guys, or just some like ridiculous set. I don't know, honestly, but still, he's a cool minifigure, and I myself would spend a decent amount of money to get him. I'm not gonna lie, and I feel like some other people would too. So there's that prospect, I guess, for him. But still, pretty unlikely. But that would be so sick if we got him in something like this in 2022. And finally, at spot number 1, it had to be Phase 2 Cody. This is really without question. I'm not going to lie, there's a lot of great clones out there, but a Phase 2 Cody is just going to be the top of the top. I mean, there's really no question here. He has been in demand for quite some time, and he also has had minifigures made before of him, a couple of times actually. With Wolffe and Fox, it was only one time, and Rex, I think, a few times definitely. And with Cody, I think he's also had a few times, at least 2. And he's just a very popular minifigure, a very popular character. Chances are we will probably honestly see him in the Bad Batch. I really wouldn't be surprised. I imagine that they're going to wrap up that loose end with Cody's story, because he's not mentioned in Rebels, obviously. So chances are we do see him in that show, and obviously he's just a very important and big character in general, pretty iconic for the most part, one of the more popular clone troopers out there. And the fact that we don't have a Phase 2 Cody is pretty ridiculous in my opinion. Like, we could have put him in the gunship, they could have put him in the General Grievous Starfighter. They decided not to do so. Why? I'm not too sure. But maybe that means that we are going to get him in 2022, honestly. I don't know. Maybe they got something planned. Who knows? He's definitely, a candidate for a CMF because he's a popular character, and he's definitely a candidate for a normal set. He could be in the Bad Batch, so I think there really is actually a decent chance that we could see him in 2022, not just as kind of like a wish list minifigure that people hope to see, but it could be realistic, honestly, and I really wouldn't be too surprised. Now that we're done with the list, if I had to choose between the 3 most likely clone troopers that we could see in 2022 off of my wish list, I definitely have to start with Phase 2 Cody for the reasons I mentioned earlier. He's a popular character. He is, maybe going to be in the Bad Batch, all that good stuff. He's in high demand. Arc Jesse next, he's also a somewhat popular character. We saw, a lot of him in the Clone Wars Season 7, so that kind of has its own prospect there. So maybe we'll get a Clone Wars set, who knows? But he's a popular character as well. Not to mention, Phase 2 Rex is in super high demand, and a lot of people would love to see him, and he's just a very popular character, so I imagine we could see all 3 of these guys in 2022. Anyways, guys, all this just begs me to ask the question, what clones would you guys like to see in 2022? Ultimately, there's really a lot of possibilities and a lot of ideas with this kind of stuff. But as always, let me know what you guys would like to see. Let me know what do you guys think is realistic. What do you guys think of my list? What do you guys think is not realistic at all? What do you guys hope to see? All that good stuff. And I'll be, more than happy to look at your guys' comments. So thank you all so much for watching, guys. Anyways, guys, that's pretty much going to do it for my clone minifigure wishlist in 2022. As always, guys, please make sure to like and subscribe. I'm doing a free site giveaway to 1,000 subs. It's either going to be a 501st Battle Pack or an AAT. And I will see you all next time, my friends.